Probably the most memorable thing about the Backrooms Level 0 original picture is that weird looking chevron wallpaper that's on the walls. Why in the world anybody would put that in their building is beyond me. It's very strange, but the wallpaper itself has become kind of synonymous with the Backrooms mythos. And for a good long while, no one knew where the wallpaper came from, what business sold it, when it was for sale, other houses that had it in. As far as we knew, the Backrooms image location was the only place that had it. Until now. Because in this video today, I'm going to be sharing with you all of the details surrounding the hunt and the finding of the Backrooms wallpaper in real life. The distributor, other uses of it, other places that have it, and we're going to be getting down to the bottom of this strange chevron wallpaper stuff. Since the original location of Backrooms Level 0 got found and I made a couple videos on it, I figured I'd make this video too to talk about the original wallpaper being found. So today we're doing just that. Sit back and relax, grab a bucket of popcorn, leave a like if you enjoy, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video, shall we? For the sake of time, this video will be split up into two distinct parts. The search for the wallpaper and all the people and individuals and things involved, and then the finding of the wallpaper, where it's at, what company made it, and other uses that we've seen of it. You can use the timestamps below in the description at the very bottom of your page if you want to skip around to different parts, if you're lazy and have the attention span of a TikTok user, but if you're cool, you're going to enjoy the entire video. I want to give a huge shout out to a few Discord users who actually found the location and the original distributor of the wallpaper. They did all the work, they deserve all the credits. I'm just the messenger, delivered it to you all. HibiscusIcedTea, Regularly Blue, and Jean Jacket, as well as a few other people that will be mentioned when they come up. Those three people essentially reverse searched and hunted down, like Sherlock Holmes, the location of this wallpaper. So big props to them. I'll leave their channels and socials in the description below. So way back on May 29th in 2024, the original Backrooms image location was uncovered. I made like 5 videos about it, and as you all know, it is in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. At the time, the internet was really exploding with the Backrooms. It was kind of having like a renaissance per se, and I'm sure Oshkosh had the most Google searches that it's ever had that specific day. But even though the location got found, there were some unanswered questions that we had, like where did this yellowish beige wallpaper come from? It's classic chevron pattern, it's very off-putting nature and design. It fit the very essence of the Backrooms, and some would say it made the Backrooms the Backrooms. I don't know who would say that, but I just did. So I'm assuming somebody would. Fast forward a few months to August 2nd, 2024, and after a little bit of digging, the first ever image that has been captured that we could find of the Backrooms wallpaper outside of the Backrooms was found. HibiscusIcedTea located this image, and it kind of set the search for the wallpaper on fire. The image itself is in a kitchen with a 70s, 80s, 90s kind of style design. There's old wooden cabinets, there's those classic old white fridges that you probably remember from your childhood, and there's the old yellow appliances. And of course, more intriguingly, the Backrooms wallpaper is in this kitchen. A little bit after that image was discovered, another image was found, this time by Discord user Jean Jacket, and it shows kind of a similar Backrooms wallpaper thing. But the main importance of this photo is that it had the chevron wallpaper border. The wallpaper itself wasn't exactly the same, but that chevron wallpaper looked very similar and could have been, it was, the exact same that was in the Backrooms. Now, around this time and throughout the search for the wallpaper, Zillow was used a lot. If you don't know what Zillow is, it's essentially like a website where you can view house listings that are for sale and things like that. Of course, you probably knew that. I don't know why I'm explaining it. But on Zillow, several houses that were built in the late 80s and early 90s had images of rooms with similar wallpaper or the exact wallpaper that was the Backrooms one. This beigeish, yellowish, strangely patterned wallpaper. None of them were exactly the same as the classic chevron Backrooms wallpaper, but we were getting closer. We were getting more to the aesthetic. A few days later, on September 7th, 2024, that same chevron wallpaper border was found in another house that had pretty much the exact same aesthetic and design choices as the previous one. Now that's important because both houses were made in the 90s, which means that we now had a specific time period to look for distributors and creators of wallpapers. And that also means there was some brand and some company that was making the wallpaper and people were buying it. A few days after this, at an unspecified date, a listing was found over on eBay that had a roll of wallpaper pretty similar to the Backrooms one. It wasn't exact and it wasn't the chevron, but it was yellowish, beigeish, and it had an overall very similar aesthetic. But most importantly, it had the brand that sold the wallpaper, Borden Home Wall Coverings. And from here, the search for the wallpaper really cracked open. Now we had a name for a possible distributor that sold something similar to what the Backrooms wallpaper looked like, which, basic statistics would say, if they're selling something that looks close to it, they're probably selling the real thing too. We just gotta find the name and the model number. After this, more and more chevron wallpaper pictures would begin to be found. Some of them looked similar, some of them looked exactly like the Backrooms picture one, and the search really narrowed down at this point. Everything was coming together now. In the mix of all the images that had houses with the wallpaper, a very interesting one was found. A picture that seemed to show a furniture store that had the actual Backrooms wallpaper on its walls was found. This place was a furniture store in Pennsylvania called Bader's Fine Furnishings. And at this point, that was the first public use, so to say, of a place where you could go visit that had the wallpaper inside. Because up until now, it was just old pictures or house listings where we couldn't visit. But here's where it gets interesting. Bader's Fine Furniture Store was a huge breakthrough, very similar to when we found the Roner's Furniture Store when we found the Backrooms image location. I say we, I mean the researchers on Discord. Bader's had the chevron wallpaper on its actual walls. It wasn't for sale or anything, but they actually used it in their own store. It was also conveniently located in Pennsylvania, which is close to where Regularly Blue and a YouTuber named Kaufman lived. So they got together and they decided to visit this furniture store to check out the wallpaper. They both made videos about this, so I'll link them below if you're interested. I'll let you go watch those yourselves. But essentially, they got, photographic evidence that this wallpaper did in fact exist in other places that were outside of the original location. But no matter how cool that revelation was, that a store was using the wallpaper still, and that store was still open, that still didn't give the question on what company made the wallpaper, who the distributor was, what the code number or the model number was. All we had was that it was indeed being used still, and maybe possibly a distributor in the form of Borden's Fine Wall Coverings. Since they already found wallpapers there that looked kind of similar, they still hadn't found the exact one. So because of this, the trail went cold for a decent amount of time. Fast forward to May 8th, so last month, 2025, Regularly Blue found another house with the chevron wallpaper inside. This was a home listing on the internet, and the chevron itself was actually upside down. Whoever installed it did it upside down. I don't know if they did it wrong or if it was just a fashion statement. I don't know. Now, because a person actually still lives in this house and it's their private residence, I won't be showing images of it for their own safety. There's like a million of you guys out there. I don't want to blast it everywhere. But Regularly Blue ended up contacting the owners from the listing of the house and inquired about the wallpaper. And another big breakthrough came in when the owner said that he thought he had an extra roll of the wallpaper in his basement from when it was installed many years ago. And here's the text messages that prove that, and lo and behold, he did have an extra roll. A few back and forths later, and the owner offered to mail Regularly Blue this wallpaper roll as evidence. And pretty much the rest is history, right? That's the end. It turns out that the Backrooms wallpaper was made and distributed by Borden Home Wall Coverings, and its suspected pattern ID and model number is WC138. Although since it's discontinued, there's no real way to find it. That's just the evidence that we can see from the roll that Regularly Blue got. But now at this point, a member of the community has an entire roll of the original Backrooms wallpaper from the time period when it was used in that first original level 0 image. Now I'm sure Borden Home Wall Coverings had no idea that they created one of the most famous textures of all time, but good job, guys. But with that, another internet mystery has been solved and another case of lost media can be put to bed. The Backrooms wallpaper has been found and its original distributor located and even its model number. Probably. Borden Home Wall Coverings. If you see this, start making that wallpaper again, and I'm sure you would make some money. But that was the entire timeline of the hunt for the Backrooms wallpaper. All the work that went into it, all kind of the twists and turns. It wasn't as long and arduous as the location of the original Backrooms getting found, but it was still cool nonetheless. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, I'd really appreciate it, and I hope you think it's pretty cool that this has been found. Me personally, I would love to get a roll of it myself so I could put it on my wall back there. I feel like that'd be pretty hard. Dummy tough, as the kids say. What am I doing in my life? Once again, thank you to all the people I mentioned at the beginning of the video. You guys did all the work. I'm just the messenger, as always, but thank you for keeping me in the loop. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you want more content from me, I do have other channels. I have Spoogly, where I upload several times a month. I'm about to hit 300,000 subscribers on there, so if you want to go help, I would really appreciate that. Also, check out my Instagram, my Twitter below. If you want more from me, leave a like, turn the notification bell on, and I will see you all when I see you next. Bye.